Live.
Okay. Ooh.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tom Hogan, and this is Trackside with Tom. We are here on November 8th of 2023, and it is a little chillier day out here in eastern Iowa today. Definitely taking a big nosedive from the nice, warm 60-degree weather we had last week. And today with me, I have Mr. Sam Bolte. Sam, how are you doing today?
Just fine. Just peachy.
Yes.
Yes.
And we also have Mr. Noah Bolte with us as well.
Hello.
So thank you, Sam and Noah, for joining us co-hosting today. And I know that Noah is paying very close attention to the potential arrival of Amtrak at Fort Madison, so we'll switch over to that probably in real time when it happens. And Sam has given us a timestamp from Mount Vernon that we're going to check out right away. So let's get right to it here. So we're looking at a westbound on Main 2 at Mount Vernon. And Sam, would you like to tell us about why this particular timestamp piqued your interest?
Well, I mean, first of all, as soon as I clicked on Mount Vernon to check on if there was anything that went through, that was going through, like, as soon as I, clicked on Mount Vernon, and it has an NS leader, so there you go. And I think it's probably the CB or CHCB. That's probably what that is.
Yeah, pair of NS leaders, actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rebuild -9 and then a GEVO.
Uh-huh. So, good catch there.
Yep.
And, yeah, lots of ethanol tanks.
Yeah, this would definitely be the CHCB.
I mean, we could run this train on the Iowa Interstate. I don't think anyone would notice the difference.
Yeah, except for the well, are there refrigerators? I don't think they run refrigerators on the
All I've seen so far are tankers and grain hoppers. Oh, here's some. Well, here's some different hazardous tanks. And there's some flat car. Yeah, now steel coil.
You should see the flat cars. Yep.
There's some of those ARMN reefers. So I guess we don't quite look like CBBI anymore, but yeah, it looked a little bit like it from the beginning.
Yeah. Yep, and there's that. Yep, there's the empty tractor flats. So I guess I'm a little behind. But
yeah. Yeah, those are the empty tractor flats. We've seen those loads go by that come off the Iowa Northern from Waterloo. Those are the empties being returned.
Yes, and they get dropped at Marshalltown. Then they go east to Cedar Rapids on the MTMT, and then they go back north to Waterloo. So that is the path that they take.
Right. Because, Edgewood Road isn't open anymore. It used to be that they didn't want westbounds to work at Beverly because of blocking Edgewood Road.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was a long time ago, but yeah, I would imagine that. But
right
now it just seems like I've seen a westbound working once or like a couple times, but it doesn't happen anymore. Like it just doesn't happen. It's only eastbounds these days. So
yeah. So the other thing I was going to point out here is that we do have some track equipment that went through Mount Vernon this morning as well.
Oh, I did not find that.
Yeah, it's on Main 1, and it looks like it goes by about an hour and a half earlier. But you can just see him coming up to the crossing now. I believe it's a tamper ballast regulator. But he is 10:10 is the timestamp that I'm looking at.
Okay.
And actually, if I were a nice host, I'd be sharing my I would be sharing my screen with you. That I should be doing that. Excuse me. Let me see if I can help you out with that.
Yes. Hopefully it doesn't lag, because it always lags for me, but hopefully that'll not lag. Let's see. Oh yeah.
Yep, there's another piece of equipment that goes by.
Yeah, they have a lot of gangs out there. They're doing a lot of work.
All right, you should be able to see my screen now. Apologies for the delay on that. So, yeah, that was the other thing that I had from Mount Vernon. Noah, do you have any update for us on?
So the tracker says that it is. It should arrive here in 2 minutes, but I don't see it yet. So stand by.
All right. Well, we do in fact have another roll by. This guy is an eastbound going by Mount Vernon. The reason I actually point this out is because that looks like with that track equipment out there on Main 1, they were single tracking through Mount Vernon.
Yes, that would be right. They were doing the same thing yesterday, and I would assume probably all week.
Right. So we're noticed that, this is an eastbound on Main 2. We saw a westbound on Main 2 earlier. Single tracking maybe between Stanwood and Cook, potentially, or Stanwood and Bertram, who knows. But just from an operational standpoint, I felt like this was worthy of pointing out.
Mm-hmm. And this actually ties into when I was saying, sorry, my throat's not amazing this morning. This kind of ties into what I said last week, which would have been how, unless there's maintenance going on, UP prefers to right-hand run now, unlike they did, say 10 years ago, or even less than that, maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah. So this, I'm guessing, though, is a direct result of the maintenance away work on Main 1.
I would tend to agree with that.
Yeah. And you can see also this guy is crawling through here quite a bit slower, in no small part because they're cresting the hill at Mount Vernon going east, and probably with a heavy train.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Yes. So while this guy is rolling by, we'll just get caught up on our comments a little bit here. We have Stephen Kern, hello. Michael Richmond, good morning to you, or good afternoon, I suppose. 12:09 in the afternoon now. Daniel Swanson, Barry over in Butler Junction, Barry Anderson, Cliff McFerrin, good to see you. Haven't seen Cliff on in a while. He's our contact for our host at West Liberty. Oh, that train wasn't particularly long either. He's already gone. Here I thought I was going to have more time to get through some comments.
No, the trains are going to keep you on your toes today.
Yeah, I guess so.
That probably would have been maybe a NPCH, I would guess, because it didn't have tractors, so I'd imagine that's probably NPCH.
It could be, yes.
Yeah.
That is certainly possible. All right, we are going to switch cameras here briefly, and we will jump over now. I think what we'll do is we'll just jump over to Fort Madison.
Yep, it should be perfect timing. It looks like they're getting very close.
Yeah. And I did have the camera swung around to the depot.
I noticed.
So, I did in fact anticipate that. All right. Back at Fort Madison. And beautiful view of the Amtrak depot in downtown Fort Madison here. Thank you, of course, to our host, the Lost Duck Brewery in Fort Madison, and thank you to our host, the Diesel Turbo Service in Mount Vernon, Iowa. And, since we're here, if we've got some other timestamps, if you want to look back through the morning and give us some...
Oh, I already have, yeah. I've got some stuff lined up as soon as this is out of the way. Unless you just want to go to those while we're waiting still.
We certainly can.
It's coming around the corner now.
Oh, it is? All right, we'll just hold off then.
I do not see it coming around the corner on my end yet, so...
Well, you got to remember, this is like... There it is. It's like 30 seconds behind. He's just ducking through the trees.
No, but I think like even on my end, like I might just be like 10 seconds behind Sam or something like that.
Oh, sure. All right. But
And see,
yes,
now I see it. There we go.
so he will be arriving at the Fort Madison Depot momentarily, and we're going to see the number 4, the eastbound Southwest Chief.
Yeah,
And
it looked like it had some sort of a car up front, like maybe a private car. I couldn't really tell.
it does look like it, yes, right behind the power.
Yeah.
Let's see what we get when he pulls around the curve here. He's gonna pull past the platform with that, or past the depot with that lead car, so we should be able to get a pretty good shot at it.
Yes. And I'm assuming you're on the controls right now?
I do. I have the controls pulled up. Yep.
Okay. Yep, so we can zoom in and see what it is. Perfect. You know what?
And let's just zoom in a little bit more.
So, Tom, did you know that there was going to be a private car on it today?
Actually, what I did know was that the timing was going to work, that I wanted to highlight it during the program, and it just so happened that the stars have aligned for us.
Gotcha.
It looks like an FRA inspection car.
Oh, is it now? Okay.
If I'm reading the decal correctly on that, I think it says Federal Administration, so it's going to be Federal Railroad Administration.
Oh, yeah, no, I do see that. And they've got like the little,
Oh, yeah.
the circular logo. You can see that's definitely the FRA's logo.
Yep. And if
Yeah.
you also look at the reporting marks, it says DOTX
Yeah.
on the side of the car. Yep. So DOTX is Department of Transportation. There are also DODX, which are Department of Defense cars, which we saw a bunch of those flat cars go by last week. I forget exactly what day that was. That was an Iowa Interstate to Iowa Northern move for transload at Manly. But definitely something to check out on the highlight reel when it comes out on Monday. So we are going to zoom back out a little bit here. Now, I do want to ask, I revamped the Amtrak ticker here a little bit, and we actually have the station, we have the time, we still have the train information for the 2 trains, but I wanted to just point that out to people that, yes, thank you for the comments. It seems like mostly positive comments about the revamped Amtrak ticker here on the Fort Madison webcam. Probably going to try to implement this in other places as well. And Amtrak does a crew change here also. You just saw the engineer climb up into the cab of the lead unit. Fort Madison is a crew change point for BNSF and Amtrak and the UP as well for their trackage right trains that they run across the Transcon. Yes. So once Amtrak departs here, you have some further highlights for us here, Noah?
Yes, I do.
All right. That's good to know. And Sam, if I were to give you a mission of sorts here, would you be able to look at Owasso and see if they moved the steam engine around at all today?
Okay, yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
That is something that, or at least give us a highlight from Owasso, even if it is just the Great Lakes Central, because I do want to go over and talk about Owasso and their upcoming events, their upcoming Polar Express trains that they've got coming up on a couple weeks here in the future. so that people know when to tune in for those as well. And that makes a good point. I'm going to make sure that I have that pulled up for myself so that I can quote the actual dates and times. There we go. All right. Got that pulled up. So while we were observing Amtrak, watching the crew change happen, let's just get caught up here. And we've got Cliff McFerrin, Michael Richmond, Dave Kroger, A-Train, Buddy Burton, Buchanan Farms, Cedar Valley Rail. He must be playing hooky from work today. Not that I would ever, actually call anybody out over YouTube on that. Michael Richmond, A-Train. Yep, here we go. Connor Rothen, hello, Falling Up. Michael Richmond, RS in West Virginia. Good to talk to you. Clay, Tim Bink, Chuck M, Dan Swanson. Yes, hello everybody. Thank you for all the comments. Eastbound mixed freight that followed number 6 out of a tumble with an NS unit trailing. It was told to drop a BNSF unit near Fairfield for Gal DMO to pick up later. That would be an interesting move. We obviously don't have a Fairfield camera, but you would be able to see that go by, get set out, and then watch it come back the other direction.
Oh, that's... Huh. Yeah, I have a buddy who's down there right now, and he said they were doing something weird with that train, and okay, now I understand.
Yeah, that's apparently what's going on.
Yeah.
Chuck M.
I did find the Owasso time spot.
You do? All right.
Yep.
So, center of the DOTX car says Office of Safety. Interesting.
Already.
We got some timestamps that were offered to us with, that CP7018. Yep, Buddy Burton gave us a timestamp for that on the 180 train at Washington. Jesse, hello. Online on company time. Nice. Good work, Evan. Good work. Chuck M, Daniel Swanson, Mark Dowis. Good to see everybody here. We got 54 people online today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And we have got Amtrak getting ready to depart. So we're going to swing around to the other side and watch Amtrak as they make their way toward Chicago, continuing their trip east. And obviously, check in later today for the westbound Southwest Chief. If he's on time, he'll be going through in the early evening hours, since we have a little bit of extra daylight now with daylight savings time having kicked in, but not a whole lot. So, all right, what's our timestamp there, Noah? What timestamp do you have at Fort Madison?
We can start out at 5:58 this morning.
Ooh, all right, we're going way back. 5:58. Well, salutations to Amtrak as they depart. 5:47. All right.
5:58.
Yeah. I think. Oh, here's I found 5:52. Here's a container train with a bunch of empty well cars on the end.
Oh, so there is.
5:55. Need to go just a little bit further. And here comes our headlights for a westbound. You can see the crossing gates coming down.
Nice sunrise, too.
Yes, beautiful sunrise at Fort Madison at 5:57 this morning. Although, I don't think this is what the National Weather Service would consider the official sunrise time. It is still...
Well, you know what? They're not here, so.
Yeah. So one thing that I noticed right away is that if you look at this, the Southwest Chief was an hour and 16 late at this time in the morning, 5:58. And they were only an hour and 30 late when they got to Fort Madison later in the morning. We have got a big consist here. Second unit is an H1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this is just a light power move. There's a war bonnet, or excuse me, a fake bonnet. Yeah. Good catch on the light power move. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it was just a little blink on the thumbnails I was going through, but still caught my attention. I've got 609 next, if you'd want to go to that.
All right.
And honestly, I've got so many timestamps here that we don't even have to like watch through the whole trains necessarily, because most of these are just going to be, you know, double stacks. We've all seen 1,000 of them, but we can just rapid fire this. I've got quite a few to go here with.
All right. Oh, we're going to back up just a little bit. We had a camera operator working at 6:09 this morning. Very nice. Thank you to whomever that was. Speaking of which, I need to log out of the Fort Madison. Let's see here. All right, so this is this a, I have a hard time telling with the blurriness. No, that's a GE and an SD70, it looks like.
Yep.
All right. And you can actually see in this lighting very clearly how he's got the high green to proceed across the bridge. And looks like just a regular manifest type train going east, heading toward Galesburg.
Yep.
Let's see here. Oh, Rob G, good to see you. A lull at work, so you give a wave, yep. BC Rail Dash 9 just went through Griffith at 12:21. We might have to check that out too.
I think we should.
Yes. So, yeah, we're getting now, like 15, 20 minutes later, we're getting the full effect of that beautiful sunrise now also.
That's kind of why I chose this, because other than, like, the power wasn't anything too remarkable. I was like, you know what? That is a nice sunrise. Let's get a better look at it here.
Yeah, it is. So, there's also, these are becoming increasingly rare, these articulated auto racks that just went by. They were kind of a thing, about 15 years ago, 10 years ago? And they never really caught on, but you still see them floating around occasionally.
Yep. I don't really know if they make them new anymore, and if they do, it's definitely not in the same numbers that, say, those fresh singular ones we see on the CPKCR. Right. And if you know what I mean, you can go on to any of the CPKC cams, well, minus, I guess, I forgot the name of the town that it's on, but the Mason City sub one. Aside from that,
Calmar.
You go on to any of the other cameras, and you're going to see those new auto racks, like, basically guaranteed. They're on almost every single 261 and 260.
You mean there's no auto rack service to Mason City? Is that what you're implying?
No. You'd be surprised. I thought they get potash trains and sand trains and all these crazy unit trains. Oh yeah, and this train. So this has got fresh, new Gevos and one of those repainted Dash 9s. So that was kind of neat.
Yeah, some very, very clean looking silver trucks on those.
You want to go to Calmar? I do have a timestamp that just reminded me of Calmar, and I looked, and there we go. So, I mean,
all right.
You can check out Calmar.
If you want to.
We can certainly do that.
I've got a few more here if you guys want to keep rapid firing, but other than that, I mean, I'm fine switching. It doesn't bother me whatsoever.
No, let's jump around a little more here, because
right.
I want to go over and talk about Owasso first, and then we'll knock out a couple of these timestamps that we were given, like Calmar and Griffith, for instance.
All right, that works.
I got 2 on Calmar, actually. So
you do? It's a big day for Calmar.
Well, I mean, 2 in the past 12 hours, I'd say that's about average.
Yes. I mean, there's sometimes where there's 12 hours and no trains.
Sometimes, but that's doesn't happen all that often.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Owasso quick, and while I am switching cameras here...
Actually, hang on a sec. Can I interrupt you real quick? Can we... Wait, is this coming from
I'm
Washington?
already on Owasso.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
What's your timestamp for Owasso?
8:12.
All right.
8:12.
Kind of a rainy morning here in central Michigan.
I was just going to say, it sounds like there's a train approaching Washington right now. I also had that up.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
All right. It does look like... So this is actually... The lineup of cars that they've got out here is actually going to be a great segue for us to talk a little bit about Owasso. 8:12, you say?
Yes. Oh, and the train going past Washington right now is right here.
Oh, I see it here. Okay. 8:12 at Owasso. So we're going to watch a Great Lakes Central move. Which, it looks like this is a Jeep and an SD38 maybe?
Wow. I think so, or an SD40, whatever they have.
Yeah, it's either a 40 or 38.
I can't tell if they're two Jeeps. I can't tell.
It's definitely not two Jeeps. All right, so this is a Great Lakes Central move heading toward their yard in Owasso, eastbound move. But the reason that we're here is because of the Polar Express trains, which the Steam Railroad Institute, which is the host of this webcam, is going to be running starting in 2 weeks, actually. November 18th and 19th, November 24th through the 26th, December 2nd, 3rd, 9th, 10th, 16th, and 17th. It's a bunch of Saturdays and Sundays and one Friday that they're going to run steam excursions, Polar Express trains with their Lima Burke, the 1225, the Pierre Marquette 1225. So, as you can see, they've actually got their train switched out and ready to go here. This is one of the Polar Express consists that they use with the multiple cabooses and the bi-level cars, and then the private cars up toward the single levels, and then the private car up toward the front. So this is very much a Polar Express type consist that they've already got put together. If you tune in early, like most of the dates, it's a 10 a.m. departure and a 5 p.m. departure. But if you tune in early, you will see them doing switching moves or doubling their train up and going out to the main with it. You can't really see it, but there's a gate and a switch that they use to access the GLC main, which is actually kind of right underneath of where that second bi-level commuter coach is. And so this is something that I wanted to highlight. The folks at Steam Railroad Institute have been fantastic to work with, and I really appreciate having this camera here. But literally the main reason why the camera is here is to highlight these Polar Express trips, which we will see over the course of the next 2 months. So, yes, we love the GLC. We love standard cab EMDs. Don't get me wrong. That's all fantastic. But the big reason that we're here is for the steam engine, right? Don't confuse yourself. So that's my pitch for make sure and tune in to the Polar Express trains over the next basically 5 weeks. But starting in a week and a half from now, that are going to be running across or past the Owasso cam. And I do have camera operators that I have gotten lined up to try to have them strategically at the right times of day to make sure that we can track the movements as they're going back and forth and switching moves and departing and arriving and everything else with their Polar Express trains. So, any other notes or comments, Sam and Noah, that you have for Owasso while we're here?
No, I think we should. What did we want to look at next? The BC Rail, or do we want to check out that Heritage unit?
Yeah, how about we go to Washington here?
Okay.
Oh, we can definitely go to Washington next. Yes.
Yes, and then stick with CBKC, and then we'll go to Calmar after that. Let's see.
All right. And
It just went by Washington within the past few minutes.
is it literally like the last? Oh, yep, I see it. It's literally in the last 5 minutes that it went by.
Yep.
All right. So we are in Washington, Iowa now. The host is the Washington Depot Airbnb. They have a couple of businesses like a hair salon and something else that's actually located in the depot. And there is the CP Rail Heritage Unit, along with a brick leading south on the 180.
Hey, I mean, hey, at least it's a clean one. It actually looks pretty nice.
It is, you're right. I can't complain
and we
too
got
much.
and we got this is 180.
Yes,
So
this is the
this is
180. This is the racks and stacks, as they're referred to.
Yes.
Auto racks on the head end and container cars on the rear. Lots of Schneider containers. You know, we've talked about the ongoing struggle between BNSF and UP and now CPKC over the Schneider traffic, and it certainly looks like that CPKC is getting a good share of this international Schneider traffic.
Definitely.
And so there is our roll by, excuse me, at Washington for the 180 train. There's been some non-intermodal cars on 180 lately. Well, you know, you can't fix PSR all in one day, I guess. All right, let's jump over to Griffith quick. And as we're jumping over to Griffith, just one final thank you to the Washington Depot, the guys running the Washington Depot, to thank you for hosting webcam there. And what is our timestamp at Griffith? Where did that go? Somebody had a...
I think somebody said 1020 or something.
1221.
Oh.
Again, very, very recent.
Okay, never mind.
And it looks like, if I'm seeing the right train here, excuse me. Yeah, the gates are down. So this guy looks like is taking the connection from the South Bend sub onto the Madison sub. 180 met 577 at Let's. Thank you, buddy, for the information there. And where exactly is our train? Oh, there he goes. So there is this blue BC Rail Dash 9 trailing a CN SD70, it looks like.
Stack train.
Yep. I think this is actually another one, Stacks and Racks.
It might be.
So,
Yeah.
now I find this interesting. You see all these EMP cars up on the front of this train. I'm guessing that this is a direct result of the... So, when the CPKC merger went through, Canadian Pacific got kicked out of the EMP pool, which is managed by Union Pacific. And CN took their place.
Yeah.
And that would be my guess. And so here's some shipping containers. And there you see, yeah, some of the international containers, the 40-footers, and the domestic containers, the 53-footers on top. And, all right, so here, actually, I'm going to rewind this just a little bit here. So if you look at this, right here, you see where they have a 53 footer on top of a 40 footer. All right, and then they have a spacer car. And then they have another 53 footer on top of a 40 footer, and then a single 40 footer, and then another 53 on top of a 40. This is a 5-pack of intermodal cars, and in order to get the correct spacing so those top containers don't rub against each other, that's why you're seeing them spaced out like that. And then over here,
interesting look.
What's that?
I said it is a really interesting look.
Yeah. And then you look over here on the left, you've got an actual the end of the 5-pack and then the beginning of maybe another like a single or a 3-pack or something. And so then they have them right next to each other because the knuckles, the coupling makes up for a longer space. It allows them to have those 53 footers right next to each other on top of the 40-foot well cars. So definitely an interesting look for just, you want a little bit of insight into why the railroad makes decisions about how these cars are lined up. You see another example of it going by right there where they have 2 spacers and 3 loaded cars in a 5-pack. And then as we get further along here, now we see these are 53-foot well cars and they have double stacked 53-foot containers on them. But yeah, lots of JB Hunt, Maersk, more EMP. So, you look at from a traffic pattern perspective, they're getting these EMP containers from the Union Pacific pool and probably interchanging them back to the UP here at Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
It would be really fascinating to see if we could identify some of these cars, for instance, on a G2LB, for instance, going across the Clinton sub.
It's possible.
I don't know that it'd ever be possible to actually identify it in that way, but that's the sort of thing that it would be really cool if somebody could do the math on it and figure out where those ended up.
Yeah, but don't some of them end up just stay on the CN?
Oh yeah, no, some of them definitely stay on the CN.
Yes.
Yeah, go through Wisconsin and everything.
It just depends. It just depends.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's the racks you were talking about.
Yep, stacks and racks once again. But I'm guessing those 3-packs and 5-packs of EMP containers, those are probably for interchange, if I had to guess. Let's see here. 11:16 at Calmar. We can jump over to Calmar next.
Yes. Yeah. Calmar. Yep.
What's with Calmar? It's always dead there. So Calmar, all you get is the traffic between Mason City and Marquette, and it's very, very, very sporadic. There's only 2 scheduled trains, and to say that they have scheduled trains is really kind of a joke to begin with because they just kind of run them whenever.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I have 3 timestamps at Calmar here.
3?
So, yeah.
This is a record-setting day.
I think actually the most I've seen is 5, 4 or 5.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
In a single day,
or in 12 hours.
We are going to see. I wasn't going to talk about it today, but we are going to see the Canadian Pacific Holiday Train going by Calmar this coming up next month as well.
Yes, Friday the 8th. I'll definitely be out for it, or I'll try to be out for it.
Yeah, that'll be a topic for a future Trackside with Tom. But we are definitely going to be talking about the. We're definitely going to be talking about the Canadian Pacific Holiday Train also.
Yeah. So the first timestamp here is 1:59.
1:59 a.m.
Yes.
Midnight 58. Come on. 1:48. All right. 1:58 and 21 seconds. The gates are down. The train is coming.
Yes, here's our K38.
All right. So the K38 is a eastbound or southbound Mason City to Savannah train. And then it has a counterpart K39 that runs back. And sometimes they do make meets out here on the Mason City sub. They've got,
Yes, that can happen. Yeah.
Yeah, Ocean and New Hampton. For anyone that's out doing, actually trying to chase the CP.
I've seen the meet, or I've heard the meet at Ocean before on the cam. So yeah.
Oh, we have merger consist here. A CP AC 4400 followed by a KCS SD70. It looks like.
I believe it was a Givo. Yep.
Oh, it's a Givo.
Yep.
No, it should have been an SD70 because I saw this on Bellevue earlier. So.
No. I was talking about the CP.
Oh.
Yeah.
Got it. I could not make out the numbers on that CP unit.
Yeah, but when you could tell from the radiators in the back,
Sure.
Yeah.
So eastbound, lots of grain traffic, lots of ethanol traffic that comes off the Mason City sub. And again, we're at the top of a tall grade here, so this guy is not moving particularly quickly.
Yeah, usually the eastbounds, the power is going like fairly slow, and then as soon as they're over it, they get to a somewhat decent speed towards the end.
Yes.
Yeah, and
all right. So, okay, I just want to point out there's some comments here about Calmar, but then this Northern Iowa Railfan Productions is saying, what's wrong with the Calmar cam? So he's right, there's hardly any traffic, but then in the next sentence is suggesting a Sheldon sub camera, which would have even less traffic than the Calmar camera. So...
Oh, Vinny Okers.
I mean, I'm not...
So a little bit of consistency. I'm just saying, you don't think there's much on Calmar, there would be even less on a Sheldon sub cam.
Yeah, it's not like I wouldn't want that, but like I don't think the point of it is to watch it all day for trains.
No, the point of the camera is to be able to go back and look and see when did something go by when you've got that 12 hours of DVR backed up.
Yes, like a Sheldon subcam, that'd actually be nice for when you're out there. So I mean, it wouldn't be horrible. So.
All right, let's see what else we've got for comments here. Mount Vernon, we got that. Iowa Falls, we got an Iowa Falls timestamp. Thank you for that. Timestamps for Washington. Yes, we did check out one of those. When is there new train cameras? There will be new cameras on Saturday.
Yes.
We're very excited for new cameras on Saturday. It's going to be a long day, but I know that I saw Evan in here earlier. He's up for it. We're going to make it happen.
No, Evan's in here right now, and he made actually a fantastic suggestion. A Swisher camera would be quite beneficial to the entire Steel Highway network.
Yes.
I couldn't agree more.
Oh.
All right.
Yes.
What's the next timestamp at Calmar?
7:22.
I do want to say thank you to the city of Calmar for hosting the webcam at the former Milwaukee Road Depot here in Calmar, Iowa. And a nice view of the mural across the street as well. So, yes, we have an approaching train.
Yep. Then we have an ethanol here, so it's the K36, at least on this line, and then it changes the ID changes once it gets to the Marquette or something like that. Either the Marquette or whatever Chicago sub, or if it's going to La Crosse to go east, that's where the ID would change.
So as this guy is approaching, which it does look like might be a little underpowered, these gates, there we go. Oh, we got another brick. And a CSX motor.
Yes. Oh, somebody said Decatur, Illinois. That would be a good cam.
Yeah, Wabick. That'd be a fantastic location.
It really would be.
So, you were talking about a Swisher camera earlier. you know, I did go scout out a location in the Amana colonies last week, but unfortunately it's not going to pan out.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, Amana, at least you get your 2 trains a day, or sometimes more than 2, but you know.
Yes. But yes, we're talking about, for those that are not local, we're talking about the Iowa Interstate Cedar Rapids sub, which goes north at South Amana up into the Cedar Rapids Krandick yard.
Yeah.
That actually would be pretty helpful. I'm not gonna lie. I would enjoy a camera on that line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Tom, where's our Hills cam?
Hills camera?
Yeah.
Well, you know, one of the things that I have talked about is having a camera at the Hawkeye Model Railroad Club when they have their layout set up. And we would have the camera facing the Hills branch during the day, and then on Wednesday nights we'd switch it over to the train set inside the depot, or inside the building. But that's a long way off. They have a lot of construction to do before they're going to be running trains on their new layout. So.
Oh yeah.
So I know you've still got one more timestamp on Calmar here, and you also have other timestamps people have suggested to line up. But I do have 2 different shortline ones here. If you decide you want to do those, and even if we don't make it around to it, Cedar Falls Junction, like after this live stream ends, it might be worth checking out Cedar Falls Junction for whoever's interested, because it looks like they're doing like a lot of work alongside the tracks on both sides of the camera. I have no idea what's going on, to be honest. Like there's construction cones everywhere. There's vehicles and trailers parked up near the bridge. There's like I don't know, like a temporary road almost right next to the tracks. I
can tell you what they're doing.
That's the bridge replacement.
Oh, yeah. Really?
They have an overhead truss bridge at Cedar Falls that is being replaced with a deck bridge, I believe.
Oh no!
Yes.
When is that supposed to happen?
Pretty soon here. I mean, they've been working the past, I don't know, month or so. Because
I have not checked this camera at all.
Yeah, when I went to when I was in Waterloo about a month ago, actually today, and they were just starting on the work.
Okay, well, I guess we better make it up there again soon, because
so there was a DP. Sorry, I was just saying there was a DP on that.
No, I see. Yep. I see.
Yeah, so at least they had enough power.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what's your last timestamp here for Calmar?
11:13 or whatever.
11:13.
So, something like that. K39 this time.
I was just gonna say I really want to make it back up to Cedar Falls soon here, because I really like, that's a good truss bridge. It has a really nice, inside view.
It is.
Depending upon where you're standing. So yeah, wow.
If you will recall, that bridge was the cover of the very first issue of Steel Highway.
I do recall.
So here is our westbound K39 train making its way toward Mason City. It looks like DDG hoppers on the head end.
Yeah, they might. I think sometimes they work whatever the place is. What is it? Lawler, right?
There's Lawler and there's Charles City. There's 2 ethanol plants out there.
So those are probably getting dropped at one of those places.
Well, if you look, there's another block of DDGs and another block of ethanol tanks here. They might do both, honestly.
Yeah.
That would not shock me.
Yeah, it really depends on where they work. It's just like a wild card every time you catch it. You never know where it'll work.
Yeah. So, just to get briefly caught up here with the comments before we get too far. 181 last night through Savannah with Rax and Schneider traffic. Thank you, Dave Kroger. 180 on the KCS. Yep. That'll go down through your territory there, Michael Richmond. BNSF and JB Hunt relaunched the Quantum service. Yeah, we'll see how long that goes. BNSF is still pretty hot and heavy into their PSR, and those 2 concepts don't really merge very well. The UP trains through Fort Madison. Yes, the trackage right trains. They have a lot of Schneider traffic as well. You're right. 180, 577 at Letts. Vern Rosenthal, hello. Timestamp. Next to the Milwaukee, the best fallen flag is Erie Lackawanna. Okay, Dave, that's a hot take, but you know we're here for it. All right,
Hot take.
we are at the end of our Calmar timestamps now, and we are going to go over to what was the next. I'm sorry, I seem to be having a mental block here. What was the next place that we had a timestamp for? We checked out.
I think Noah
Washington.
had something, right?
I mean, I think there were people suggesting them in the live feed, so I'd rather get to those first. But I mean, if we can't find those, I do have two.
There was a timestamp for Savannah that I thought was interesting.
Oh yeah, we haven't looked at Savannah too often. Yeah, I'd be down to check that out.
Yeah, let me see if I can find this here. Somebody 9/13/40 H1 leading an executive Mac at Savannah.
Yeah.
I think we need to check that out. All right. On to Savannah. 9/13/40. Kind of a crummy day in Savannah, it looks like. Let's see here. I think I may have... Oh, this is 8:54. We have a container train pulling across the diamonds. What's this guy got? It looks like he's got an H1 trailing. Maybe?
Let's see.
I could be seeing things, but it really looks like
you
it.
actually, I think you're right. Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Yes, that is definitely an H1 trailer. So, trail fail at 8:55 in the morning on an international shipping train. And now we'll go ahead to the actual timestamp we were given. And I think 9:13 and 16 seconds, and here we go. You could kind of just barely make out the difference, but he does have a clear on the diamond on main 2. So this is going to be an eastbound train going away from the camera.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yes, there's our H1 leader and executive Mac trailing. I don't know. Does that even count as a trail fail? I mean, I feel like that's like a pretty nice consist no matter which way it runs.
Yeah, I don't think so. I want that. I would take the H1. That's what I really want, to be honest.
Yeah. So we have, it looks like a eastbound manifest train here traversing the Aurora sub. Lots of BNSF system hoppers. And while this is rolling by, we need to get a little more, let's see here, plan to go see. All right, stack large containers on top of small containers. We did talk about that earlier in the program. If you go back to our discussion on the Griffith camera, we actually got into that in some fairly good detail. Train featured on Steel Highway Observation Deck. Yes, definitely go check that out. If you want a group to join, the Steel Highway Observation Deck is a fantastic group to join for updates on various Steel Highway cameras. Let's see here. Plan to see the CPKC holiday train. Yep, it's going to run the whole system, so that'll be something you'll get to see down in the KCS part of CPKC as well. Sheldon sub would be great, except it's dead. Yes, K41, K40. Yep. Sheldon sub is just locals. You know, there is still a depot in Sheldon. Now, I realize you would only see the interchange moves between the UP and the CPKC. But there's definitely still a depot where the Diamond was at one time. And now it just has an interchange track. Let's see here. Algona or Garner. Love it when people run through the crossings. Yes. Chance of the Fridley Cam's radio and time working again. Also, did Munger disappear? All right, so the Fridley radio, I think either the radio or the cable has to be replaced because it is not working correctly. It's just producing all static, so I just turned it off. Munger, I'm just trying to work with the host to get the camera back online. I'm not sure if they've been out of town or if they've been, traveling. But haven't been able to get a hold of the hosts at Munger so far. But I'm working on a plan to get that taken care of, yes. And what else do we have here? Manchester camera. That's come up quite a few times, but there's just not a lot of places around Manchester that are near the tracks to really host a camera. Status of the Chicago CTA camera timestamp being put back. Here's a DPU, so there's the rear of our train. We have time for one more roll by here. Do we want to... We could do another Savannah one.
I've got a Three Rivers one if that interests you at all.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Thank you to the city of Savannah for hosting us. Actually, somebody pointed out to me a WSOR unit has been running around on the Grand Elk at Three Rivers.
Oh, really? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I've seen... whenever Wisconsin and Southern was taken over by Watco, I've started to see some pictures out in Michigan of, companies out there using Wisconsin and Southern Power as substitute for whenever they need it.
Yep.
I think it has been Grand Elk for the most part. I'd have to go back through my Flickr favorites and see what I can find. We're looking at 950 at Three Rivers, by the way.
There's also a WSOR unit that has been paired with a former IC&E Jeep on the Decatur and Eastern.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely seen some photos of that as well.
Decatur and Eastern is actually a very relevant thing in a second, as you will see here. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I got... Oh, no, it is coming. All right, here we go.
You're fine. You've got it.
Yep, I thought I had skipped past it.
And there you go, Decatur and Eastern Illinois.
Yep.
Second out.
That's right. Wide cab Jeep, is that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Old CN engine.
Yep. And lots of...
I'm going to assume paper products. If I
Yeah,
had to guide.
GTW, IC boxcars.
Mm-hmm.
There's a DWC boxcar. That's... Yeah, interesting.
I mean, it looks just like primarily... I'm assuming this is paper or cardboard or something. I'm not too sure what these are loaded up with, but the fact that there's... You've got... It's all boxcars, and then at the end you've got some center beams with what I would assume is lumber on those as well. But,
Looks like it. Yep. Wrapped lumber. Yeah. Plastic wrapped lumber.
Kind of neat. Really, it's not too often. I mean, I get this is a short line and whatnot, but it's not too often you see a train that's like almost entirely comprised of just, boxcars. So I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah. Definitely interesting. Thank you for the timestamp.
Yep.
And do we have one more that we'd like to jump over and see before we sign off here?
We could go to Cedar Falls Junction if you wanted. That's going to be a nighttime run by, though. I don't know if that makes a difference to you.
Oh, you know what? I screwed that up.
Oh, yeah?
I screwed it up. We're going to roll this guy by again because I left it on the...
Oh. Well, that solves that problem.
Yep. I apologize, guys. I definitely had a brain fart there. And what was your timestamp again?
That was 950.
950?
Yep.
Yep, I found it again. Here we go. All right. So now everybody gets to see the roll by instead of just Nolan, Sam, and I. So yes, there is our There's our wide cab Jeep D&EI and the various CN system boxcars that we saw rolling by the camera. Let's see here. What have we got now? If we look at temporary cams for some model railroad running as an idea, especially with some holiday displays coming up. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Yes, get your pics of the Cedar Falls Junction Bridge while you can. Timestamp on the Chicago CTA cam being put back. I do not know because I have to. Basically, I'm running it through a different program, and I got to figure out how to do that effectively. So I've got to figure out how to make that work again. Napoleon Defiance and Western Railcam. That's an interesting idea. Let's see here. All right, so there's the rear of our train. So I think that is going to be it for today. We have lots of comments. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you Noah and Sam for joining me today. And
No
we
problem.
will be back next week, and we'll have hopefully some photos from the Sioux 1003 charter to share again next week as well.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, make sure and there's a handful of tickets left for the Sioux 1003 charter. If you have any interest in going to that, we've got like 3 or 4 or 5 tickets left, something like that we can definitely still include a few more people. So go to the steel-highway.com website, check that out. And thank you again, Noah and Sam, for joining us. It is time now for us to sign off. Everyone have a fantastic week.
Later, guys.
Yeah.